A winter ice fair of common sense.
Talk Radio. Listen online.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
It's a common sense Christmas on Talk Radio.
Evening, it's Christo here on Talk Radio with Drive, with you for the next 2 weeks as well, as I take you through Christmas right up to New Year's Eve here on Talk Radio, and lots that we've got coming up in the next hour. We'll talk to the White House correspondent at Real Political News in just a moment. Then later this hour, we'll be talking about whether all the repeats on the BBC over Christmas are a good or a bad thing. More of your calls as well about what on earth is going on in North Shropshire, and as well as that, Omicron. It's going to be the thing we talk about so much. 16 people in hospital, 1 death so far. I will keep asking this question till I am blue in the face. Are we suffering from Omicronic panic over this, when in actual fact it's mild so far, and even if hospitalisations go up somewhat, they're nowhere near where they were, and surely it's critical illness and death that's the most important thing here. 0344 499 1000 is the number to call right here. This is Talk Radio.
Radio with an answer for everything.
Now with 0% drift and dither. Talk Radio.
Now, as always at this time, let's now cross live here on Talk Radio to Professor John Christopher Boer, who is the White House correspondent at Real Political News. Evening to you, Professor.
Oh, hello.
Having a little sip there. You're right.
Having a little Christmas cheer early.
Are you? Is there what is in that mug?
It's a prop.
Oh, is it? There's nothing in it.
I just wanted to stir your audience, thinking I was a
lush.
Never mind.
It's all right.
Yeah, not quite.
They've already listened to me for the last 2 hours, so they're used to listening to someone slurring. Frankly.
No, I love it. I love the parents visiting and the fixing of all the shelves and everything and fussing. But here's my suggestion.
Yes.
And I put it up on my website, and I put it up on my Twitter as @JCBUA. Is this old standard that I recommend everyone listen to. It's a song by Perry Como, and it goes like this: I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Now that's what people should do. Get off the planes, get out of the trains, stay home with Gran and Mom and the kids, and have a lovely, snuggly time. Look at the
But
fireplace.
the way things are going, we're going to have to limit the numbers. A couple of the children are going to have to stay outside.
Well, that's fine too, if that's what you want. Let them build a snowman.
But it's not what we want. It's not what we want. It's what I think our government is heading for. I mean, are you having Omicron panic in the States at the moment?
Well, we're having a reality check. You know, the president made a very strong statement yesterday. He said that Omicron is here, and that the unvaccinated will face a very severe and painful winter. And there is what we call a viral blizzard going on. I just read a little bit of my notes from the president who I was with yesterday. And the reason it's not so terribly bad is that some smart people actually have gotten vaccinated. And they say now 3 shots aren't enough. You need that booster. You need to wear your mask. And I think that's really important for people to understand. If you remember, you're a little younger than me, but some of your followers and your audience will remember little kids, visions of little boys and girls in iron lungs before the polio vaccine came out, before Dr. Jonas Salk. And that was horrifying to me. So I'd have no problem taking a vaccine if I know I'm not going to end up intubated or on a ventilator.
But what I don't like is how we're heading in society at the moment, where rather than having conversations with people who don't want to get vaccinated and discussions and talking about it, what we're doing is immediately demonizing them. And I don't think that's helpful. I don't think it makes people want to take the vaccine. And I think I'm pro-vaccine. I've had 3 jabs, but I understand those people who are a bit reticent. I understand those people who don't want to listen to politicians who've told them everything's hunky-dory and safe when they've been lied to so many times. And I think those people should be reassured. They should be spoken to, and I don't think they should be excluded from being able to go places because they don't have a vaccine pass.
Well, they talk about airplanes are safe, and then a doctor, an immunologist, came on and said he was on a plane and people next to him and in front of him were coughing and sneezing without a mask, and he caught it. 2 days later, he was sick. And I think the problem is they should listen to the healthcare workers. And the problem is these very, very dedicated doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals go into these hospitals, which are totally overburdened with COVID cases, and they're physically exhausted because they have an overwhelming amount of people coming in, and they caught this because they weren't vaccinated. And now we find out from the House Oversight Committee that the Trump administration made a deliberate effort to underplay the serious nature of COVID, and they blocked public health officials from properly warning people. So this has taken on a real, what we call red state, blue state, nasty political bent. And that's where we go wrong. We should listen to the scientists. We should be intelligent. And, there's nothing wrong with the government telling you, hey, look, you need a vaccine. You better get it, my friend.
Yeah, but if the government has lied to you consistently, and that's what's happening here in the UK, they can't have it both ways. They can't be dishonest and say, look, the pandemic's going to be over. We're not going to bring in vaccine passports. That you're only going to need one shot to get rid of all of this. And then be surprised when people say, you know what? You've lied to me so many times. Why should I believe you over a vaccine?
Well, I don't disagree with you. I mean, then you have to elect people who don't lie. And that comes hit the polls.
Good luck with that one.
Right? That's your job as a citizen, whether of the United States or of Great Britain. Elect those who don't lie, and they have to take a non-lying test, and you put their feet to the fire.
Do you think that? So, are you going to be seeing? Because I read somewhere today that New York now are looking like they might be bringing in restrictions about Omicron. Do you think that you're going to be seeing lockdowns and the like once again in the States?
Oh, indeed. I mean, we have, first of all, suggested, required, and then demanded lockdowns. Broadway shows are closing, which is a shame because that's the lifeblood of New York. I'm originally from there, and that is a horrible thing. The museums are closing. I was into a restaurant the other night with my wife. We had masks on, and the mayor here, Mayor Bowser, she's trying to be with it. She lifted the mask mandate. So we walked in the restaurant, people were eating, chatting, chomping away. And I said, that's it. Goodbye. We'll take it to go, or we'll come back another time. It's a deadly virus, Christo. You know this.
All right. What about this select committee's findings?
Now the fun begins. Now we can talk about something that's not
COVID, thankfully.
Yeah, well, here's what happened. This week, we learned that the important work that this called the January 6th Select Committee, what they're actually doing. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. The committee has already interviewed 300 people that have very valuable information. There's more being interviewed today. Trump's, this fellow, Brad Pascal, who's Trump's campaign manager. And the press has been talking about who didn't testify, but quietly and methodically, without the glare of the camera lights. This mission is as important as Watergate, because we have to save our democracy and preserve our Constitution and the rule of law. And nobody is above the rule of law. And this is what's happened. And Donald Trump's legacy is going to be that he brazenly lied, he cheated, and he's going to get away with it or not. That's up to the committee. And that's up to the Department of Justice.
But is this about the attacks in the Capitol in January?
This is about the research. This is about the insurgents. This is about the coup. This is about what happened on January 6th.
Trump would argue that he put out a tweet saying, you know what, that he was calling for calm at one point, wasn't he?
Oh, please, come on.
Well, no, that would be his defense to that. What would you say to that?
Laughable. That was hours later. I watched live on TV why him and Rudy Giuliani said, we're going to march to the Capitol. Former Mayor Giuliani of my home city said, this is a trial of combat. And Trump promised to march with them down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol, and he enraged them. And now he's trying to go backward and saying he didn't do it. and his son tried to call it off, to call the chief of staff, Mark Meadows, trying to get him to do it. Certain people from Fox News called over to Mark Meadows and said, have the president make a speech, say something. This is getting outrageous. This is going to hurt us. And it's hurting us.
And
hurting
what is the
people.
worst thing that could now happen to Donald Trump as a result of this?
He gets away with it.
But what's the worst punishment he could face? That's the worst thing in your eyes, but what's the worst thing?
I care what happens to this country. If he gets away with this, it'll prove that America, it does not have the rule of law, and the cronies and his disciples, as I call them, in Congress, like Jim Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe her name is, these really extreme right-wing people will take over the committees. The Democrats will have no power. These arch Republicans, these extreme conservatives will take over, and the rule of law will be gone. And the America that we know and love, and that you and I and our families fought with together, will be unrecognizable.
All right, listen, good to talk to you. And that is the Professor John Christopher Buer, White House correspondent at Real Political News. Coming up, more of your calls. You're calling in your droves about what went wrong with Boris at North Shropshire, and Labour as well. Let's not forget they didn't have a sterling night either. And Omicron as well. All of that coming up right here on Talk Radio.
Good talk.
Hot talk. Bold talk. Talk Radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.